guys, so today we're moving on 7.4, which is the second part of our Pythagorean theorem lesson. So in the previous lesson, you learned how to find the hypotenuse, and so now you're going to be learning how to find one of the legs using Pythagorean theorem. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to look at are my key points. So again, we're going back to the Pythagorean theorem. Anytime you have a right triangle, I know that my two legs, if I square those and add them together, is always going to be equal to my third side, which is my hypotenuse, c squared. So hypotenuse, opposite of my 90-degree angle, and my two legs are the other two measurements. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to either be finding A or B today. So let's go ahead and jump into that to my examples, and I'll show you guys how this works. All right, so on example number 1, I see I have been given a right triangle. And so now if I look, opposite of my 90-degree angle is always going to be my hypotenuse, and then the other two are going to be my legs. So it doesn't matter which one I use, my A or B. So I know I'm going to be using Pythagorean theorem. So I know A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And so now A and B is 12 and Y. It doesn't matter which one I put where. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to put, so I'm going to represent, this is my A, I'm going to represent this is my B. So I'm going to do Y squared plus 12 squared equals, and my C value is 13 squared, okay? So 12 times 12 is going to be 144. 13 times 13 is going to be 169, okay? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get Y squared by itself by subtraction. So when I subtract 144 on both sides, that's going to cancel, so I should get Y squared equals, so that's going to give me 5, that's going to give me 2, which is going to give me 25. And so now in order to get rid of the squared, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So I got to get the Y by itself. So Y is going to be equal to 5. So the square root of 25 gave me 5. So then, showing here, guys, I used Pythagorean theorem by plugging in my A and B and my C, and then I'm solving for my missing variable, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, that is how you find the missing leg. Jump over to example number 2. All right, so on example number 2, again, I've been given a right triangle, and now if you look, opposite of my right angle is always going to be my C value. So I always know the opposite of my right angle is my hypotenuse, always the C angle. So right now I'm going to try and find one of my legs, which is B here. So I can use either one as A and B. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this one A, and I'm going to call B B here, okay? So I'm using Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So my A value is going to be 9. My B value is just going to be B, and my C value is going to be 12 squared. So 9 times 9 is 81. 12 times 12 is 144. I'm going to subtract 81 on both sides. So that's going to leave me with B squared on the left. So I should get 3. Take away 14 minus A is going to be 63. And then now I have that squared symbol here. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. 63 is not a perfect square. So if your question asks for your answer in radical form, I can reduce 63 by 9. So square root 63 can split up into the square root of 9 and the square root of 7, right? Because 9 times 7 is 63. And then the square root of 9 is going to give me 3. So your final simplification would be 3 square root 7. Or if it asks for the answer in decimal form, I could do the square root of 63, which is going to end up giving me 7.93. 7.93. So those are two different answers. If it asks for a decimal, you give the decimal. If it asks for in radical form, I can simplify the square root of 63 into 3 parentheses, or 3 square root 7, okay? Let's jump over to example number 3. Okay, so on example number 3, it says, a ladder is placed 5 feet away from a house. The ladder is 15 feet tall. How far up the wall will the ladder reach, okay? So now the best way to do this is to draw a picture, okay? So I know I have a side of a house. So there's my house, the side. It says a ladder is placed 5 feet away. So on the ground, my ladder is placed 5 feet away. And then I'm given a ladder here that's going to go up and touch the wall. And I know that ladder is going to be 15 feet tall. And this is my 90-degree angle. So now I have my two sides. So I need to find how tall it's going to go up the wall, correct? So these are my two legs, and this is my hypotenuse. So that's my C value. So again, I'm using Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Again, my two legs are my A and B, so it doesn't matter where I plug them in. So I'm going to go ahead and plug X as my A. I'm going to plug 5 as my B. and I'm gonna plug 15 as my C, okay? So 5 times 5 is gonna end up giving me 25. 15 times 15 is gonna give me 225. I'm gonna subtract 25 on both sides to get x squared by itself. So x squared is gonna be equal to 200. And then I'm gonna take the square root of both sides. So right now, x is gonna be equal to the square root of 200. And so right now, that answer is not going to be a perfect square. So if I actually do the square root of 200, that should end up giving me 14.14, a roundabout. So that would be my decimal in feet. That's how high up the wall it would go, okay? If I wanted an exact decimal, okay? All right, lastly, guys, remember, this is your challenge question. You need to go complete that challenge question because that is a gauge to show if you are ready to move on to your skill check. If you're having trouble doing the challenge question, then that means that you probably need to call me over for help and get a little bit of questioning in before you move on. If not, good luck on your skill check. Good luck with life. I'll talk to you later.